What is up, you guys? I am back at it with another video. I'm in the car. I'm gonna be doing my makeup just for fun. I cut my bangs just because they were in my way. I'm gonna have a sparkling water. And I just felt like I needed more layers in my hair also, because they were just like, my hair grows and it's so thick that like my head hurts. And my hair most of the time is on, like, it's tied up. So I have all my makeup, not all my makeup, but like the makeup that I'm gonna be bringing here to like film, like in this little bag, this little pouch thing. So I'm gonna put on my primer. I'm using this one. I don't even know if it's still available. I think this is like super old. So I'm just gonna do like a very simple look. The other reason why I got bangs shorter is because I was getting tired of like not seeing my eyebrows. And I know that's funny, but like for me, eyebrows is like pretty important because I have thick eyebrows. So how's everyone doing? I put eye drops on my eyes because I have very dry eyes. These are the ones I like to use. I don't know if you guys can tell. There. So, and of course I would drop them. Where did they go? If you're like, what the hell is that? It's water. There's water behind my seat and the lights are coming down. Don't worry, I brought some light. But, ooh, I don't know why, but like these drops, like do something to the eyes. Like it wakes up your eyes. It's really funny. Like it kind of gives this like burning sensation. So what I didn't bring was a mirror. This came with a mirror, but it like came loose. But it's fine. So I'm gonna put some primer. I just like to put everything like primer first. Just because I like to set it, like let it sit for a bit. Lately I have not been using eyeshadow just because I felt like the bangs really like took all of like my forehead and my eyebrows and my eyelid, so like there was no point in doing that, but here I am. But I'm gonna put this is okay. It's not like my favorite eye primer, but I always have to wear a primer just because I have very oily lids. And yeah. So I'm gonna set it with a, where is my, hold on, let me put on some light because, is this light gonna work? I think that light, I don't wanna use a light like that. I charged this. Hopefully that works. I think I could put it right here. Okay, never mind. I can't put that there. I'm trying to figure out how to do this. Everyone's literally coming in and out of this freaking parking lot. It's annoying as fuck. Can I do it like that? Okay, that works. Okay, so I think so. What I wanted to talk about, I'm gonna use this eyeshadow palette. It's a CoverGirl one. True Naked Nudes. That's what it's called. I'm just gonna go with a brush. Nothing special. And I'm just gonna pat this, kind of set it. So I wanted to talk to you guys about something that's happened to me. Another crazy freaking, of course. I always go through crazy shit, but so the beginning of the year, I told myself I was going to be starting my process to get a passport. I was a little scared just because like any process for me has not been easy. I feel like everyone has their story of how can I describe it? Like, we all have our stories, and I feel like anything that has to do for me when it comes to like documents and stuff like that has not been easy. And this one did not go, I mean, thankfully it was somewhat smooth. I've heard some crazier fucking stories, but so I decided around end of February, beginning of March to kind of start that process. And I was on the website and, you know, filling it out, and my printer is at my friend's house, so I was like at her place and filling it out and everything, and stress, I mean, just stress at this point. First things first, I'll tell you the first thing that happened to me. So, well, the first time I just kept fucking up because, like, I had a new address, and let me turn off the lights. There you go. We don't need the lights on it outside the car. So I just kept fucking up, like on the application. I printed out like maybe 4 or 5 applications before I got everything right. And then in the application, there is a part that asks if you've been married. And so I clicked yes because I've been married. So I click yes. And I realized that I needed to get like information from my ex-husband that I didn't want to reach out. So I had obviously our divorce information, I had our marriage information and all that stuff, right? Like, I remember his full name, I remember where he was born, I remember our wedding day just because I had it, thankfully. Oh, okay, so the first time I just left it, I put not married because I felt some type of way like filling that out. I don't know how, like, I didn't know like how to, like, how can I describe it? I didn't know why I needed to put my ex-husband's information. Like, I didn't understand that part. So I left it blank. I put not married. And I went to a place where you didn't need to make an appointment. You could just show up. And the first time I went, I couldn't make an appointment, but I went ahead and asked if everything I had was okay. This is how the eyes are turning out. Yes, I clean my brushes like this sometimes. Just take the Access powder and just to blend everything out. You guys don't know how many times I've run into people who literally have never gotten a brush to blend shit out. It's the most disturbing thing. But anyway, so I get there and I print out like that the application. I fill it out, I print it out, I take a copy of my license front and back, and I take a copy of my citizenship certificate. And what else did I need to do? I think that was it. So then I go and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and ask if like everything on here is fine. And this is the foundation I'm going to use. I'm trying to get rid of this one just because I'm kind of getting annoyed, and I bought a new foundation. So I kind of am just like in the process of like getting like rid of this one. It's just, I don't like it anymore. It was good when I first got it. It was the shit, you know, it was copying Chanel. I get it, you know, but it just, now I just feel like it's just not what I'm looking for. Anyway, I'm just going to use it here. Your girl got a little pimple right here. But, so the guy who sees me is like, yeah, everything on here is perfect. Just come back tomorrow before 10. There may be a line, which, I mean, I'm not shocked. Everyone's trying to get their passport just because of what's going on in this country, and I don't blame them. And, you know, a lot of people, you know, summer's coming. Summer's around the corner. Spring break was nearby when I went. This all happened in March. So I, you know, am talking to this guy. He's like, yeah, everything's fine. Don't worry. You're good. You know, and I'm like, perfect. So next day, thankfully on my way there, before we got to the second house, it was on their way there. So I was able to just kind of just go and, you know, stand in line. A lot of weird shit happened when I was there. Not shocker. I mean, this is one of my stories and all the crazy stuff happened around me. But one of the things that happened was that, well, I was in line. I was talking to this older guy who was in front of me, and we were just talking, and the guy in front of him, he left the line, but someone came for like, a car pulled in, a lady came out, he left, the mom stayed. Well, I then found out it was the mom. And then, you know, me and this older guy were like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck? Like, what? And in my head, I'm like, oh, that's so sweet of him. Like, he was waiting in line for his mom. Like his mom is gonna be the one waiting now. But come to find out, he was the one who was supposed to be waiting in line. But he has a back problem, so he can't stand for too long. Boo-hoo. Boo-hoo, people. What the fuck? Like, I don't understand people. My sponge, I have no idea where it came from, because my mom buys me shit and I don't know where it comes. This is the blush I'm gonna be using. It's from Etsy. Okay, so she immediately was just like, oh, like, I don't want you to think anything or whatever. Whatever, lady. You're still baby. You're adult kid. This kid looked like he was in his 30s at least. Anyways. So thankfully we didn't have to wait that long, and the line wasn't that big, like long. I think I was like maybe the 5th person in line. And I got there around like 10, 15, 10, like it was a little bit past 10. So I was like, oh, thank God. Because I have patience for certain things, but like waiting in line when I'm like should be working, that stresses me out. And I know it stresses my mom out. And it's just like, I don't like it. I feel like the sponge just took my blush away on this side. So we get in line. I mean, we're in line, and then, you know, the doors open, we go inside, we're waiting, and I'm like, great, I came extra prepared. No one came with their formula filled out. Everyone was just there to get an appointment. I thought maybe if I came in with everything filled out, I just, you know, like, they would be like, boom, like, go right ahead, you know? Did not work that way for me. I got an appointment later on that day, which was perfect because I was able to come home, change, shower, all that shit, and go from there. I also noticed while I was waiting in line that my passport picture was just not, it was like blurry. I was very confused. I was like, what the fuck? How come I didn't notice this when the picture was taken? But anyways, so don't ask me what powder I'm using because I don't know. I bought this thing on Amazon and I kind of mixed a whole bunch of powders into one, and I'm also trying to get rid of it. I mean, I'm trying to use up all the powder. So I, you know, get to, you know, everyone goes by and then it's my turn. And I was like, oh, great. It was only like almost 11, I want to say at this point. You know, a whole lot of people were asking questions. You know, questions sometimes held up the line. So I get to the front. I'm like, hey, is this okay? They confirm. A second group of people confirm that everything that I have with me is okay. And I'm like, perfect. My appointment was later that day around like 5 or 6 or 5 something. So I get there and, you know, I come home, I finish work, I come home, I shower, I change, I get all ready, and I then go to my appointment, okay? And I noticed that it was in a library. No one's in this library. It's like creepy. I mean, it's a nice library. I'm not gonna freaking lie. It was a very, very nice library. I had never been into that type of a library before. It was very it gave me very like rich people library. But no one in our community cares about our library type of vibes, if you know what I mean. If you know what I mean, you know what I mean. So there's a guy walking with a huge dog. So, yes, I take my makeup from my jewelry because I'm like that. But, so, I get there, and the girl's like, you know, she's looking at my document. She's like, hey, you know, everything looks perfect. But everything that you brought, like all the copies that you brought are not the right ones. And I'm like, what do you mean? I asked like the people that work here, and they all told me that like everything here is fine. And so she's like, no, like, she was like, you need to, like, your license needs to be in the same page. And, what else? I'm like, where is the freaking pencil? I need to buy, I don't need to buy. I need to bring the mirror that goes on here because I need the light. I'm using this pencil to do my eyebrows. I just kind of just really a little bit of shaping and just like fill in a few spots, but I don't really do much to my eyebrows just because my eyebrows are thick as fuck and they don't really need much. So I don't really pay attention to them. But I kind of just fill up just because I do have, believe it or not, a little bit of gray here and there. Eyeliner, it's the Wet n Wild. It's an oldie but a goodie. You know what I mean? This eyeliner has been around for decades. I don't know if it has been around for decades, but it feels like it has. Because I remember everyone wore this eyeliner back in the day. Like, when it came out. Well, if it did come out, like, years ago. When I was in school. Okay, I need to change my battery. Your girl will be right back. Okay. I am back with a new battery. Okay, mascara is going to be this one for Benefit. Okay, so I get there and I guess the lady just like went with, I don't know, because she just called my last name and she wasn't there in the morning. So I was like, what? It was weird. So I walk in, she's like, hey, like you need like these copies. She was really nice about it. I think just because it was my first time applying. And so I am just there listening and she's like, we're going to have to take you pictures for your passport. And I was like, great. I knew this was going to happen to me. So I had to take new pictures. My bangs were long as fuck. They were in the way. And so then I asked her if I really needed to submit my citizenship certificate. And she's like, yes, I know it sucks, but you have to. Like, it's just part of... This is the lippy that I'm going to use. They don't make this one anymore, which sucks because I love it. It's my favorite. I don't know why they don't make it anymore. But I'm going to mix this with a Wet n Wild eyeliner. But she's like, yeah, you have to submit it. Everyone does. And I'm like, great. And, so she takes my pictures. I ask her if I'm gonna get, everything back together or separately. She tells me separately. Okay. And so then the waiting games begin. She told me to wait about a week before starting to check, and I started to check, and, you know, I saw that they took my money. I saw that they, what do you guys think? I saw that they took my money, so once I saw that, I was like, okay, I need to go in and check the status of my passport. You know, they took the money, so I'm thinking that they should have like some type of status. Okay, that was pretty much my makeup, so now we're just gonna be yapping in my car. So I check and it says in process, and so I look up what process means. Oh, no. It said nothing. It just said, like, not available. And it was like that for about another week. So, after 2 weeks of me submitting, I then saw that it said in process. So, in process, that meant, like, I checked what in process meant. Because I've never, I've never had a U.S. passport. So, and sadly... but true, not a lot of people around me are U.S. citizens, and that's just the reality. So I didn't really know like who to ask questions and all that stuff. I was kind of doing this alone. Sorry, I feel like I'm like showing too much on that side, and I don't want to, you know, show too much, if you know what I mean. So we, I decided to start asking a few people. Oh, so when I went there the first time, oh my God, I can't believe I skipped this. So when I went the first time to kind of just verify that everything was fine, they were like, everything's perfect, but your application, you need to put in your ex-husband's information. So I had to go back to my friend's house that same day, and I had to reapply and in my brain try to remember everything. Thankfully, on my phone and my laptop, I have my marriage certificate and I have my divorce paperwork. So I had that stuff. I was able to like be like, okay, this is the day I did mess up on the day we divorced, because I accidentally put in the day we separated. So oops. And then on his birthday, I remember the month and the year, but I could not remember the day. So I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna go eeny, meeny, miny, mo, until I got to one of the threes, because it's either 10 or 11 or 12, one of those days. So I was just like eeny, meeny, miny, mo, trying to, and then I picked a number. And then I knew everything else, like where he was born and his full name, so whatever. So we're in my application thingamajiggy, right? And I mean, application, figuring out like, when am I supposed to be getting? She did tell me towards the end of March. That's what she told me. She was like, towards the end of March, you should be getting your passport. March passed and I started to freak out, because every time I checked, it would say in process, in process, in process, in process, in process. That was it. It would not tell me anything else. It's in process, but it's printing. None of that shit, just is in process. And then I logged in and it said not available. Now, I didn't know what that meant, and I started to panic. And I didn't do research, but as I started to panic, I got an email from the passport saying, you should be receiving your passport is in process and it is printing at the moment. Okay, so then randomly a few days later, I get another email saying that my passport will be shipped April 12th. Okay, so this was the 10th. No, wait, 12th. No, April 10th. There you go. So this is April 9. Okay, I reach out to a client because I have a client who has some strings. I'm just gonna say that. I'm not gonna tell you guys what they work in, because that's none of your business. But he has helped me out in certain things because she just knows people. Okay, so I reach out to him before I read this email. Okay, and I'm like, I'm freaking out because I needed to submit my certificate and I need it. I now I don't have anything. I do have a copy, but nowadays copy don't mean shit. Everyone needs the OG of everything. So I was sending him this message and he's like, don't worry, I got you. Don't worry. Tomorrow you'll get an email from a friend who knows what they need to do for the situation. Okay. Right after I send him that message, I get the email and I'm like, okay, well, if I don't get it tomorrow, I can still, communicate with this person who's helping me out with my passport. Okay. April 10th comes, which was yesterday when I'm filming this. Today is April 11th. And in the morning, early morning, we heard a knock at our door. And I'm like, what the fuck was, what? I was very confused. Because no one gets up early up in this neighborhood. Everyone kind of sleeps in and whatever. So I was like, what? So then I check my email and I'm like, okay, maybe it's the passport. So I get out of bed. My mom was changing and I rushed downstairs and I'm like, it's my passport. It's my passport. And your girl opens the door and I don't see shit. And I'm like, what? Okay, so on the email it says you should be getting your passport from 7 to 7. 7 in the morning to 7 at night, like in between those hours. And I'm like, what? Like maybe the person did come and they knocked and no one opened, so they left. So I started to freak out. I was like, fuck. So we get ready for work and we go off to work, and around 9ish, I get another email saying that my passport should be arriving around 1:45 until 3:45. Great. So I get to the second house because I couldn't call my roommate at the first house just because it was just ridiculous. We just, they're very strict, and honestly, it's one of those houses that I want to go clean and then get the fuck out as fast as I can. So we drive to the second house. I had no service, which was crazy and wild. But I finally, after like 30 minutes of trying to call him, the call finally went through. Okay, hallelujah. And I told him, hey, I need you to keep an eye out because I think my passport will be coming in today from 1:45 to 3:45. I'm not sure, blah, blah, blah. He's like, I got you. Okay. We come home. It is past 3:45. I checked and it said it was delivered. But I didn't check where it was delivered to. So I was like, okay, it should be in the mailbox. Because my roommate's like, if I get it, I'm going to call you and let you know so you can have some peace. I'm like, thank you. We come home pretty early yesterday, and then I'm like, hey, we kind of did a little talking, blah, blah, blah. And then I tell him, hey, can we go check the mail? And he's like, yeah. And he thought I meant like the actual post office. And I was like, no, it's in the mailbox. He's okay. So we go. And I'm like, okay, I think this is it. Okay. And so we come back home. I open it and boom, it is my card and my passport. But guess what? It's not in the pack, in any of the things that I received yesterday. My certificate. Now you're like, girl, you got the passport, you don't need it. But still, I don't know if I need to resubmit it, if I won't need to get if I want to get a new passport, or if my passport goes missing and I need to replace it. I don't really know. I don't really have friends that are U.S. citizens, native, all of my friends were either born here or just have DACA or have nothing. So I asked around within my clients because some of my clients know my situation and some of them don't, and then some of them don't, but I tell them some stuff. And so I have a client who I've been telling some of my journeys to all these things, and she's like, well, don't worry, it's fine. When I submitted for my kid's passport, we got the passport, but his birth certificate didn't come until a week later. I'm like, okay. So I'm going to wait a week for my U.S. certificate to come in because let me tell you, the last 4 to 5 weeks has been stressful as fuck. And I have a friend who, not a close friend, he was my Uber driver one time, and we became somewhat, close, as in, we follow each other on social media, and that's pretty much it. He became a pilot. He recently became a U.S. citizen, after I submitted my passport, and he got his passports faster. I don't get it. No entiendo. But that's my little yapping. Okay, if you don't have a passport and you are a citizen, get a passport. And that's going around, and I mean everywhere around the world. It's really important to have one. You never know when, tragedy happens and a family member is in a whole different country. You need to be there, Do you really want to be in one of those people that can't go and help your friend or family member, whatever? Have a passport. Passports are important. So what's next after this? Now that I have my U.S. passport, I am going to plan a trip to Chicago. I need to first make an appointment to go to the Chilean Council in Chicago because we don't have one here in Atlanta. I don't know why we don't have one, but honestly, I'm glad we don't have one. It gives me a really good excuse to go to Chicago. I love Chicago. Chicago is a great state for me. Like, even though me and my ex-husband didn't work out, but he has some amazing families in Chicago, which I still communicate with. So I want to go, obviously to see them, but main thing is to go get my passport, my Chilean passport, just because I would like to have both. Just because you never know. You never know. Like I'm telling you, get a passport. I don't care where the fuck you're from. Get a passport. It is important to have a passport from where you are from because you just never know. Like I'm telling you, you just never fucking know. So I need to plan a trip to Chicago. I'm excited because I haven't been there in a very, very long time. The last time I was there was my first time ever going, and I went with my ex-husband, and it was amazing, but also a little kind of just stressful because he's a man, and you know how trips go when you go with a man. So I'm excited to kind of see old family, friends, and also get to know a little bit of Chicago a little bit more because I felt like when we went, it was so quick, it was so fast that I didn't really get to like absorb. I plan on maybe staying in a hotel nearby, or I would like to stay in a haunted hotel. And I know what you're thinking. What? But I'm into spooky things, and I've heard that there's a hotel in Chicago where Miss Marilyn Monroe would stay whenever she went to Chicago, and apparently her spirit is still around there. I wouldn't mind having a conversation with Miss Marilyn Monroe. But maybe that's something we could do on this channel, do spooky things, go to spooky places and investigate. Now, I've never done that before, so it'd be a first time for me and you. But why not? But that's it. That's my yapping and complaining about this whole freaking system and how fucked up it is. But it is what it is. We can't do anything about it. We're still here. We're still surviving. But I hope everyone's okay. I hope you're okay. I hope you're, sometimes I've realized with all the craziness that's going on, just with politics and the country and the world and everything, sometimes it's best to just back off and just get off of social media, read a book, go for a walk. I did that the other day and I was like, oh, I really needed that. I need to just walk and just disconnect from the phone. I listen to a podcast. Holly Weird is one of my go-to podcasts to listen to, or Girls Next Level. But that's it. Peace out. Take care. See you in the next one. Bye.